Today's speaker is Mr. Gautam Morey, who is a member of executive committee as well as group member of the medical devices group. We have recently formed medical devices group, and there's a series of lectures we have organized on medical devices. I think this is the fifth lecture on medical devices, and group has taken a very good shape under the leadership of Mr. Surendra Agarwal, and it is progressing day by day. And we will be planning to have a Medi Park also. Abhijit and Rahul, they're working on that project. We will be celebrating our 100th episode on offline. We are just planning the location and all other details, where we will be launching our website. Anil is working hard on creation of TechForum's website, and which will be launched on that day. It will be from 17 to 22nd March. One of the day we will select, and we will be having a grand celebration. We will be inviting all the members and would be members for this function. Without spending much time, I will request Mr. Surendra Agarwal to introduce the speaker, and Mr. Gautam Morey then can start his presentation. So over to Mr. Surendra Agarwal.
Thank you, Vilas, for the introduction. And I am very pleased to welcome all the participants in today's meeting. And let me just say a few words about Medical Device Group again, just to add to what Vilas has already said. It is basically to help the existing and budding entrepreneurs in the 45 billion medical device industry by offering common infrastructural facilities for prototyping, component testing, 3D designing, etc. Also, mentoring the budding and struggling entrepreneurs by helping them in their product strategy, marketing strategy, financial strategies, etc., etc. So, as already elaborated by Vilas, it is taking a good shape and will require the coordination and the coming together of all the budding entrepreneurs and the existing entrepreneurs in the medical device group to take it forward. Now, I welcome Gautam Morey to today's talk, which he is going to deliver. Gautam Morey is basically an electronics engineer from the University of Pune, and he has seen all the struggles which a budding entrepreneur has to go through it. So he is the right candidate for providing mentoring to the budding and existing entrepreneurs. He is now he has reached the zenith in terms of his career, in terms of founding. He is a founder and CEO of Sofomo Embedded Solutions Private Limited, a digital innovation company. He is doing a lot of innovation, and he always pursues continuous innovation in order to demonstrate sustainable real-world application in low resource settings, which is the thing which is required in our environment where we don't have enough or plenty of resources. Some of the products which his company has developed is Arogya Sakhi. Arogya Sakhi is a program for doorstep community health services to the mobile health workers. In July 2015, Arogya Sathi received 2015 M billionth award for effective use of ICT in healthcare projects throughout Southeast Asia, a big achievement. Other product of Sofomo, which is a flagship product, is LifePlot Unique. It's the world's lightest handheld and connected fully diagnostic ECG device, which is also very much required in India. It enables rural urban healthcare connectivity by instantaneously transferring ECG from a remote location to a specialist for diagnosis. This is what we call a telemedicine. In 2014, Gautam teamed up with CSIR scientists and won the Grand Challenge program announced by US STF. Their proposal selected for the award was rapid real-time blood pressure measurement and hypertensive predisposition diagnostic using pulse transit time and blood pressure variability. Gautam focuses on the convergence of wearables and AI to provide affordable and innovative indigenous products in post-operative scenarios. To add to all these achievements, he is a founding member and chief mentor of the Marathwada MedTech Labs. This is a World Bank funded rapid prototyping facility for medical equipment to be set up at MIT Aurangabad. I think we can add some common infrastructural facilities also to that and help the budding entrepreneurs. Gautam has been a visiting faculty at SIBM Pune for innovation and entrepreneurship and also is currently adjunct faculty at the MIT School of Bioengineering Sciences and Research Pune. With this small introduction, I would now like to invite Gautam Morey to start his talk. Gautam Morey.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Actually, in the heat of the moment, the profile shared is actually quite dated. So the current company that I founded, and that too, it's like 5 years now, is Transvitals Private Limited. And the idea, anyway, the mission continues. It's not a different mission altogether. It's the same mission that I had initiated about now. It's been about 16 years now, and that was to bridge the divide between a patient and a doctor in the Indian context. So that has been the main seed of the work that I've done so far. And this has created multiple innovations, I would really call them now, because when I started out, I wasn't looking at them as innovations. They were solutions that were solving a problem for the doctor and the patients. And these were all very apparent. I mean, anybody, because every household in India is touched by medical emergencies or healthcare requirements of one kind or the other. So everyone has a story. Everybody's father, mother, sister, brother, anybody has undergone something that has created a certain impact in their mind, saying like, this should be changed. This is not the way I like it to be. So essentially, when you create solutions and when you look back, they can be called as innovations. So what I'm going to share with you today is a very brief introduction as to what the landscape looks like today. Okay, it's my current company is LifePatch.ai. Transvitals is the incorporated name, and but I am going to go beyond what I am doing here. But there's a general um, ecosystem analysis that I give for MBA students when I take their section, vertical innovation lectures for healthcare, and that's what I am partly going to share with all of you today. So what incorporates digital health? In 15 years, I've seen all the terms one can bring and can be rightly called as jargon, in the sense all that has put together conferences and, then those conferences go away, then somebody else comes with a new term. And essentially what regulators all around the world converge on, but in different English all the time, is what is digital health about. So US has its own definition. Mind you, this is all just English put together, but it's the same outcome. So let's say like if the US FDA says digital health is mobile health, IT, wearable, telehealth, telemedicine, personalized medicine. So all this put together is at least like all the companies you see all around the world currently delivering healthcare at home. Okay, and then Australia is there, Canada is there. So all these are changing every year. This is one of the most dynamic systems of digital health is one of the most dynamic systems, because innovators like us keep bringing up certain solutions, and they then need to be taken to the regulator. So then the regulator likewise adjusts what can be the pathway to introduce these as medical devices into the overall ecosystem. So in a single way, if you look at digital health, it gets any doctor or any caregiver, as we call them, to act. Okay, now to make an action, and these are all protocol based actions. So one of the things that I have noticed is that since doctors, caregivers are trained on hundreds of years of protocol put in by medical and clinical science, their actions are all based on what they have been taught. Okay, so you don't look at their action change, you actually enable them to make that decision based on as much real-time data that you can provide to them using sensors. If you see, sensors are what create the pathway for data from the body to enter the digital world. And then you use networks to communicate and aggregate and then analyze. Now, this analysis is where you see the I trust you. I mean, over the last 1.5 decade, uh, these balls have you seen, act, create, communicate, aggregate. They have become, they were actually islands that one had to focus on. So I remember that early 2012, 2010, sensors were a big problem to have, because mobile phones had just started making them up. They were extremely expensive. But to make smaller sensors, battery efficient sensors, energy efficient sensors were a big challenge. So a lot of companies coming from engineering used to create devices, and those became more differentiators. And by 2014-15, this communication, will it use citywide WAN networks, or can it use you know 4G or 5G? All those became the mainstay for uh, for innovation. So sensors were already there, then people wanted to do that. Then once the standards came in, of late 2017, then you might have heard, big data and all that become the norm for innovation in healthcare. So essentially, people used to say we'll aggregate a lot of data and we'll create data points. Uh, to the current time, I can clearly see that the shift is to analysis. So how smart can you be with all the other cogs in the wheel already in place? Can you analyze faster? Can you analyze better? Can you, to some extent, the claim is that can you replace the doctor? But I don't see that happening. But analyze towards action is what clearly is now making the turn. And for this analysis, AI was beckoning for a long time, but now I think that time has reached where AI is truly going to make that entire shift happen. So this being the case now, the whole idea is always to see in the Indian context, or my motivation has always been to reduce the costs, that costs of healthcare, which I feel are tremendously, they are growing leaps and bounds, but that is the business case. But ideally, to just do the measurements and to take this from point A to B, our idea should be to reduce the costs on all of this, and increase the quality and make the medicine more personalized for patients. So all of this has shifted to home care, most of it, because uh, the diseases are sitting in early, and then they are also not something that you need to be admitted into the hospital. So much of the care is happening at home right now. um, Move to something that for an action item. So I'm a very action oriented guy. So I want to actually get you to think what is what are the questions that normally come to mind for anyone? And I am seeing, because of, like I said, no, everybody is touched with some sort of healthcare um, emergency, some sort of things. We need to really see how does one go about if you are really motivated to do something in health, in medical devices or in digital health. So I'll answer 2, 3 questions. How does one innovate, and what is the real meaning? And when does an innovation take shape in healthcare? So how does one really innovate? So you have to take slight cognizance of what I described earlier in the cogs of the wheel picture. But this one creates a more meaningful analysis of where the whole thing is going. And trust me, this picture, though it stops at 2020, because this was a graphic that I had got hold of somewhere around 2012. But it aptly keeps showing that it's the is the momentum in which health is going. So it's like somewhat like the Moore's law. Somebody actually realizes and puts together something that can be shown for years together, because that picture is moving in the right direction. So, and of course, the timelines are something that never match. Okay, that has been history's biggest learning, that you might not be ready when you think it will be ready. Okay, so there was India 2020 and all these big, the big talk about what we will be at 2020. None of that has happened, but the direction is set. So now it is 2030, for example. And all your in healthcare, it has now moved from just knowing the disease, diagnosing the disease, to preventing the disease. So this shift is quite radical. And this was not, this was all in the hospital in that area, and nobody had foreseen COVID happening and things like that. So this prevention is now key, because then the hospitals right now are overwhelmed, and they need to really keep people at home as much as possible, and only get them to the hospital when there is a very glaring need, or if there is a procedure need. That is the current healthcare ecosystem in India, if you may. And this I can talk to you. I mean, just in January, I happened to visit 3 main centers: Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Delhi. And all of them are still where all these confirmations are true. That the hospital infrastructure is quite under stress. And the main thing is that somebody who doesn't require a bed should be treated at home. And that, because that number is increasing of both the people coming into the hospital and also people in at home, feeling that they need to be taken care of by a doctor. And to that extent, you should choose where you are. What do you need to do? So because you feel that you should just make some sort of device, doesn't mean that it has a life cycle that can uh, sustain. So sustainable businesses need life cycles that can be sustained through what is happening in the ecosystem. This one also, the hype, digital hype cycle. And trust me, everybody I meet is somewhere located on this hype cycle. He has just had the realization that something should be done in healthcare, and then they really push themselves to, get support from the ecosystem, get going on something. Though the last missing part is nobody starts doing something immediately, which is actually the key. So then you can go and place yourself. But too much over analysis will keep you in your thinking space, and you will never get to action. But the history has been such that uh, it's called as the trough of disillusionment, where all these things that are presented to us, and see, the smartwatch is somewhere on that downward slope. The over promise of things to solve medical problems, and this might come from just pure marketing play also, because marketing likes to play on our sentiments and emotions. And we are all always right now, always, all around the world, people are thinking, what can we do for bettering our health? Because that's one thing that is creates a big expense. whether it's for yourself or for somebody else. So what is now happening is that, and this seems to be, it looks chronologically, it will look like a small time zone on the graph, but frankly, this is like decades put together. At least 2 decades put together, where big data, personal health data, all that slope. And to be honest, with AI coming up, now you can see that we are slowly approaching the plateau of productivity. Nobody still has a silver bullet sort of answer to what is going to solve things, but this is where the plateau of productivity is nearly approaching right now. Though it's still early promise, because see, somewhere where you feel the doctor needs it, he is not willing to pay. He wants the patient to pay. Patients are already not really, they are under the burden of looking at paying for different things. And yet they feel that the technology should be made available easily. Now, in all of this, how does one create a profitable company? So things go on as they are. A lot of times healthcare just moves on status quo. So this is unfortunately where innovations take some time to get their uh, feet in. But then there are 2, 3 levels of what I have seen in digital health, what can be done. Uh, Institutional equipment aside, see, institutional equipment is legacy right now. So it's like having a laptop. Nobody really says there is a challenge in making a laptop anymore. All you can do is probably make a lighter laptop, and even that has been taken care of. So because the equipment used in institutions has been around for at least 40 years, I'll say, even the most advanced ones, like a ventilator or something like that, which has a lot of computational logic inside it, is already 30, 40 years old. So the ones that you see now are becoming more and more efficient, and they have plateaued in the sense that you can't do much more out of it because it's doing what it's supposed to do. So, like the other day, I could see there are some big inroads that they're doing, like angiography without actually getting into the body, purely by imaging and all. But there are very small shifts in that, because the earlier methods are now becoming cost efficient because of their uptake. So very, very difficult to create changes in institutional requirements. But then technology comes to the rescue, because you're looking only inward and thinking that all those come into the hospitals are patients. But once you look outwards, you will see that there are these huge number of uh, people at home who have one or the other requirement to have some devices, applications, and services. All this, I put tech in the middle, because there is no way one can create sustainable applications with just manpower and just being efficient. So tech is going to be an enabler, and we are going to rely on it as a, like, business. Tech in business is now a given. You use UPI even for big large payments. All everything is digital. So tech has made, it's a backbone now. So in one way, tech is going to be a service delivery or service backbone for healthcare as well. And you have a choice of this list. It's not an exhaustive list, but it overall brings together what all creates uh, a product. And you can choose to be in any one of these circles. As long as you identify that I am only in this circle, I can't be in the other circle and the third circle and the fourth circle. That is too much to actually deliver as a promise. So uh, this is again a redundancy. If you are really into the business of even doing a startup or being in that, there are pathways, and slowly as regular. So India was both at an advantage and disadvantage, that the regulator was sleeping for such a long time here. Everything used to come to India, everything used to be sold without a big regulatory requirement. As long as it didn't kill anybody, anything was being sold here. But now the regulator is making a presence felt, and due to the regulation getting active, now we will be equivalent to all the world leading ecosystems like US FDA or European C to match how these devices and equipments are created. So now this fits the bill. Earlier it wasn't this way because it was anybody's game. Anybody could just import something and sell in the Indian market. But now slowly manufacturing licenses need to be very mandatory, and it is the early days, but it is going to be something that will require you to do the life cycle the way it is defined to be. And we do have now, so these policy guidelines are in place. They have been taken from, of course, leading ecosystems in the world. Implementation is another, discussion, but all these, the way they are stipulated in forward economies, especially US, have been brought to India as is. Okay, through the MDR 2017 notification, the law, and of course it's undergoing change as well, but it is clearly in place now. So, a lot of things, import control is in place right now. The distribution records and advertising control all are in currently. So, if you find someone doing it now, they are actually creating a aberration in regulatory compliance, and they can be brought back to justice anytime in the future as well. So the most serious guys know about this. The less serious people just go on doing this until somebody takes objection, at which point the problems will start. So especially this advertising control, you might see a lot of things being put on Amazon, serious devices, but the claims are very consumer oriented that we will do, arrhythmia analysis. You buy something for 3,000 rupees and they'll say, we will do your rhythm analysis or for an ECG and things like that. And that's where, it's not something you can claim in public. It's not, it has serious implications. That is going to become something that takes India, why innovations would be required all the time, so you need not be in a position when innovation takes place and then you are looking at it from a faraway lens. So India is catching up. And why is India already in need of innovations? This is a issue that these four are very pertinent points and very close to my heart. So the need for India is, as we all know, I'll not look on the left side, but our one of the big problems is we are still the leading country with the highest burden of communicable diseases in the world and the growing NCDs. So communicable on one side, but non-communicable diseases like the ones like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, everything is just ballooning. So the need is there, and then infrastructure. Though now you see a lot of attention given to it, but always look at the percentage of GDP that is dedicated to healthcare in every budget. So that is always dismal, something. And then you look at how much of the GDP is dedicated to defense, and then you will see the disparity in. So if you take half of what they give to defense and put it in healthcare, you will actually see, if we are known as the largest military in the world with the best defense systems, if you give enough attention to healthcare, we might be known as the best healthcare delivery ecosystem in the world as well. But that doesn't happen budget on budget. So people are getting more and more sicker. Their life expectations are longer now. So of course something will catch up. Pollution and all plays a role, and then everything is concentrated in urban areas. So the need has never been as good as it before. So I am actually a big sort of uh, testimonial that the market is always there and there is need for some sort of innovation, even though you are not usually commercially out there. But market hasn't gone away, or has not shifted like in many other such areas there the technology just dies down. So I always say healthcare is perpetual IP, and India is the best place still because of what you can do. If you are looking at a pathway where everything is put in a model, the development stages for medical devices in digital health follow these 4 5 stages, uh, which one innovator might be taught, and unfortunately not very uh, professionally taught in colleges. So actually, I learned this on the job, and later realized there were these staged, stages for development of medical devices. But if one were to follow this, the one of the main things why the West takes a lot of time to do this is because their access to hospitals, to patients is quite restricted. Whereas now, uh, in the Indian ecosystem, at least that access is now quite open, and that's a legal access. You don't need to do anything illegal. So, for example, one of the programs that I am part of is MedTech Mitra by ICMR. So ICMR brings together Ministry of IT and CDSCO, the regulatory body, and creates a common platform where innovators like us or new development can actually ask for support, saying that which regulation am I under? Can I do these tests somewhere? Can you identify partners for me? Can you help me get this trial done? So a lot of these things, the up till the prototype construction, has a good, I'll say good, very good uptake in India itself. The problem here currently is when you commercialize, there's not a great way to enter the market compared to regulated markets or organized markets like the US and Europe. So, but till stage 3, stage 4, I think India is best suited because you need a couple of years with you to finish this, create a standing medical device, medical equipment, which has all the things that one, let's say if I talk to a distributor, he will ask for A, B, C, D. So this A, B, C, D is created by stage 4, after which he will say, okay, now I can, or multiple distributors, then they can sell it or sell it to the government also as well. So that being the case, India still remains close to heart, and of course, you create solutions where the problems are. So the largest amount of problems are in India, without any secondary doubt on that. And every solution therefore has a welcome thing. So if whether people would pay or not pay is something we will, it's another discussion. But the development stages and all are quite keenly pursued in India, even through good accelerators and all. So some, as a concluding thing, I will share to you one last learning slide. You know, uh, so technology, after about 2 decades of being just focused on technology here, I can see that technology is not the differentiator. Okay, so the business model, you have to think through, financing options as a service. And so India always challenges you in multiple ways. The infrastructure part is now resolved. So at one time, initially getting network and getting a good Wi-Fi connection or a 4G connection or 3G connection was a big challenge. Now all that is resolved. That is over. So then you are not fighting against any infrastructure. You have to then fight against market adoption, and there the channel becomes a very important thing because the urban channels are all saturated. Okay, there are hundreds of companies all around the world having dealers, distributors, selling the same stuff in the urban area. So you have to look at channels that have deeper inroads into the semi-rural and all that, where the new market is growing. And long term, actually, one has to really put their energies on this. And uh, the entire idea is now, collectively, if smaller companies can create brands, I think the space is there for a brand that resonates that it is made in India, it is serviced in India, it is of the highest quality, and luckily that the regulator is already certifying as well. But the rest of the things, it's like a sort of being a Tata where, reliability and trust forms a bigger part of the core. So anything under that banner actually has a certain set of trust already built in, and therefore adoption is easier. So, so that being the case, this is what I would like to share and present to you today. Of course, I had other things in mind, but I think we'll stop here for today's session. So I'll be glad to take some questions if there are.
Gautam ji.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really outstanding information and presentation. One of the rarest analysis you put in front of all of us. And
Yeah, thank you.
We all, including me, are really happy to go through your each and every sentences carefully, which is really guideline and showing us a future path of this industry. The one of the biggest and great happening industry. So I really thanks behalf of TechForum to you for presenting such wonderful and knowledgeable presentations. And by this now, question and answer session is on. So I request all participants to please introduce yourself and start asking questions.
We have good 20 minutes now. So please plus identify yourself and fire the question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
My
please.
name is Shubham Kultu.
So your name, please.
Shubham Kulte. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
So a similar kind of invention I made in creating emergency green corridor for emergency vehicles such as ambulance, where as sir told Gautam sir told regarding the database creating medical history means fetching the data and sending from remote location to the concerned doctor, which is remotely operable. So, in a similar fashion, I made one invention where, storing the medical history of a particular person in a data warehouse, and whenever the emergency take place, where we can utilize before the patient reaches to the hospital, doctor will be having handy medical history. So, as sir told that we are struggling with, commercialize this thing. So, if you can help me in the similar fashion, how we can, boost up this to commercialize or utilize this invention in India. So, if you can guide me, that would be a great help.
Yeah, I think you should put your contact details in the chat box and we will contact you. Rather, we will organize your separate presentation on this forum. Is it okay?
Sure, sir, sure.
So let me have your, and how did you get our contact? Let us know and put the details. We will invite you for a lecture.
Sure, definitely. I will put one of my patent attorney, Shalaka Toli and Pallavi Kadam. From there, I got the detail of this forum and I have connected.
Okay,
I will share my
okay.
details with you. Yes.
Yeah, Pallavi, no, she has delivered the lecture. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Yes.
We will definitely guide you. And Mr. Agarwal, would you like to say something on this query?
I, being a IT person, I like the digital health, the presentation by Gautam Morey very much. And all these words, telemedicine, etc. Actually, not only words, I have been practicing it in the rural health as a part of the Rotary. So it's a very good, I should say, roadmap for the future innovators as well as for the budding entrepreneurs. My question to Gautam is this: you are a chief mentor for the Marathwada MedTech Labs, and you are offering a rapid prototyping facility for medical equipment. Now, can we add some more facilities which a medical device park does so that it becomes a great common infrastructure facilities for the budding entrepreneurs? Gautam?
So to I think I'll answer Shubham's question also. So Shubham, you have to of course I don't completely know about your solution, but you need to be directly talking to stakeholders. It'll be a challenge, I'll tell you, because nobody likes paying for software solutions in India, however useful you might think they are. So it has to go along with something that is already being sold in the marketplace by an established software. So a good way to do this is really co-brand it with some solution, and
Okay.
it will create at least a user base first. So you don't really give away any of your IP, but at least start getting usage data from somebody who's deployed it. So uh, you are up a tough path, even the ecosystem doesn't even like to pay for records until it had become mandatory now, and because insurance demands it. Otherwise, it was a very difficult time for almost all software companies to sell to hospitals. But essentially, you have to keep at it. And the more, if it's not your complete focus for your bread earning, you can actually license it out for free with the established vendor, and let the usage data come in. And then you can look at what is the demand for that, and then look at partners who will do this for you, or you can launch it yourself. So that's
So definitely.
something, yeah.
Yes, we
And
have various trials in front of Nagpur Municipal Corporation where we have our devices and we have made several trials, successful trials. But due
okay,
to not getting an exposure, I was studying over there. But definitely, I would like to connect for the same in this forum
yeah,
with everyone.
sure, sure. And Mr. Agarwal, your answer actually now, so this was at least 7, 8 years ago. I told you it was a dated resume.
Mhm.
So now the condition is that there is a lot of ecosystem facilities available everywhere. Pune, Pune as well as Mumbai, everywhere, and these are co-hosted facilities. So one just has to look up on the right incubators which are focused on medical devices, and almost everywhere. Actually, there is no such special requirement for medical devices in the prototyping stage. So even if you have a EV incubator, it has a 3D printer, everything is in place. So and there are high quality printers everywhere, because the anybody who buys these things with government money always goes for the top notch product. So I think there is enough around if you are resourceful and looking for it. You don't have to look specifically at medical, as if you're doing technology and device and equipment or any of this sort in this scope. Only towards the very end part you will require very specific medical, which I am even, because of being in the ecosystem, I am even privy to private manufacturing companies who are willing to run small batches and things like that. So I think that is not it's a resource. You have to be resourceful. The capacity is already there.
No, the thing is that common infrastructure facilities offers things like no component testing, electromagnetic interference, compatibility center, biomaterial, accelerated aging testing, medical grade molding, 3D designing. So there are many facilities. There are 13 facilities which common infrastructure facilities offers. So, do you think that there is any medical device park of this kind where the people can go in Maharashtra?
That's what I'm saying. No, there are incubators locally also and everywhere else. And whatever you said are part of. There is no differential. That's what I'm saying. To medical, there are big parks like AMTZ, okay, which is government park, but it's in Vishakhapatnam. Who will go there?
No,
To do small things done. So
nobody.
all this is slightly skewed, which is why in Maharashtra there is this is where we had started that discussion that Maharashtra needs to get their own park, but
Yeah.
that's where one has to push the government to. But let's keep that aside. That is not point of discussion here.
No, no. It was because we are pushing forward this medical device park, as one of the objectives of the medical devices group.
So my focus is more on the people who want to innovate or create these devices. Infrastructure is a discussion for a very different topic.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. So, what is the latest innovative product which you have developed in digital health?
So I am working on patches now. So different types of like uh, ECG patches, then fertility patches, and the area is mostly stick to skin sensors. And the other part is that there are devices that work with mobile phones, like ECGs and all. These are IPs that are now going to go forward and become more apparent. So one small thing is like I have started when I had to really even when I used to do demos, I had to educate doctors on what is 2G, what is 3G. Okay, to the point now that I don't have to do that anymore. But then there are a different set of questions that come for. So the market is now quite ripe. So there are a lot of innovations that now seem to have reached the right time, right place metric, right? So if I think I'm actually doing this from on the road, I'm not in Pune. So if we are done, I think I would like to log off at this point.
Okay. Anyway, we want to thank you for your presentation and the roadmap which you have given. And I think it will be helpful if you could involve yourself more in the medical devices group. It will be certainly great help.